This beautiful blue engraving, it is amazing. I love it so much. It is hard to show because of the light, but it's just really, really nice. Hey you guys, I'm so excited. Today we are going to review the newest laser from Longer. This is the Longer Nano Duo. Brand new laser, very capable. It's a dual laser because it has a 20-watt diode laser and also has a 2-watt infrared laser. Now, if you do decide to purchase this laser, please use the link in the description below. It is an affiliate link. That means to no extra cost to you. I will be earning a small commission. Now, comparing with the original Longer Nano, it has many improvements, one of them being this cover. Now, it looks like it has more magnets and stays on a lot better. It also has a little window for placing material, so you don't have to take the cover on and off for putting the material in there. The laser has a display screen over here on the top. We'll turn it on in a second. The working area is bigger now. It's 140 by 160 millimeters. And with the extension table, you can get up to 300 by 300 millimeters. But before we turn on the machine, we'll do a live demonstration. I call it live demonstration because I'm gonna turn on the machine and we will do a couple of projects so you guys can see exactly how to focus the machine, how it works, you know, all those tips and tricks. I'm going to show you a couple of tests that I did with this machine, and then we will turn it on and we'll do a few projects so you can see exactly how it's working. Now, one of the first things I did with this machine was some coasters. These are some slate coasters, and the engraving, it's fabulous. Really nice contrast, really nice engravings. I did that one. I did this one. Very, very beautiful, very pleased with the result. And then I did this one, and I think they ended up so, so cute. So now that we saw it engraved really, really nice on stone, I also tried some cork engraving, and you can see the engraving is fabulous, very, very crisp, very, very dark. I have no complaints when it comes to engraving on cork. I also did a wood coaster. This wood, I'm not sure what kind of wood it is. It usually doesn't engrave very nice. It doesn't matter of the machine, but I did an engraving just to test it. So here is our engraving. When it comes to wood, I also did this kind of bottle openers. Very nice, very crisp, dark engraving. And I made a whole bunch of these guys because I usually, when people order stuff from my website or my Etsy store, I like to put a little gift. So that's something that I usually add into my gift in the bag. I did some wooden keychains for the same reason. The engraving, it's absolutely beautiful and very, very pleased with it. So really nice engraving on wood. I was playing around and using some laser foil, and I made this little kitty cat coin. And I cut the wood. Let's see, where is the piece that I cut from? So here is the piece that I cut from. You can see that was the laser foil, and this was the piece in here. And the cut was nice and clean, a little bit of charring, but other than that, a really nice cut. Now, this is a Galvo style laser. They're not meant for cutting. If you think you're gonna buy a laser and use it for a lot of cutting, I recommend you get a gantry style laser. Go with the Longer B1 or something like that, and those are meant to do a lot of cutting. And those are a better choice when it comes to cutting. But this machine could cut on 1/8 inch material, 3-4 millimeter. It's just not recommended. I don't think I would use it much for cutting. Engraving leather. I engraved this notebook that I keep my laser settings on it. So that's one I did. I did another one here for the Longer Nano, so you can see really, really well engraving on leather. I also made some leather patches. I have a darker one in here, And the same thing with these guys, I usually just put them as gifts when people order stuff. So it has that design on one side, and then on the other side, I'll put the name of the customer. So right now I have 3 orders from today, so I made a couple of, you know, these things with the customer's name on it. So really nice engraving on leather. As you can see, no scorching at all. I didn't have to clean it at all. This is straight from the laser. I really like this red one. I think the red one is like really nice contrast. Very, very beautiful. And the material pack that came with the laser, I had this material, I'm not sure what it is. It's white on one side, green on the other. So I did a little engraving in there and it engraves really, really nicely, but I have no idea what kind of material this is. I did do a cutting test, and like I said, this machine is not meant for cutting, but I did do some cutting tests. As you can see, you can cut material very nicely. When I got here, I had to stop the machine because I actually started a fire. There was definitely, the material was in flames. I was going too slow, and I had to stop it because, you know, to be safe. Let's see, what else do I have in here? I engraved some stainless steel. I tried to get some colors, and as you can see, I have this engraving here. I chose a few different colors. I played with the blues, the reds, the yellows. And in order to figure out those colors, I did do a test engrave. So these are the colors I got at those powers. And then that's how I engraved a few different butterflies here. I wasn't really getting the blue I was wanting on those ones, but then I ended up with this one, and this one turned out really, really pretty and colorful. Then I switched the laser to an infrared mode, and I engraved a business card. So there's my name there, engraved really, really nice on this aluminum coated business cards. Diode laser will engrave on those really nicely as well. And then I took some black acrylic and engraved, this is with the IR laser as well, very, very nicely. Now, what impressed me the most was engraving on plastic and brass. And I'm gonna show you here, I engraved on plastic, and very, very nice crisp engraving. I'm gonna put a clip here to see it. You can see it in real time. I did not fast forward at all to see how wicked fast this machine is. Super, super fast. These Galva style lasers are really fast. This can go with 10,000 millimeters a second. Super, super fast. Now I'm gonna put a clip right here that shows engraving this plastic in real life. You will see how fast it is. It is not fast forward. This is really how fast this laser can engrave on plastic. The next thing that really blew my mind is engraving on brass. And I engraved this coin. Do you see how clear and dark the engraving is? And this is the other side. And brass is a material that many lasers struggle to engrave on. I usually have to use a UV laser to engrave on brass, and this is what I engrave with my UV laser. And even comparing with the UV laser with the infrared is darker and a lot cleaner, more crisp. So this is a UV laser that cost about $5,000, and this is the Nano Duo Pro. Way darker, way more clear and crisp engraving. So I was blown out with the result I got from it. So those are some testing I did, but right now I want to turn on the machine and I want to show you guys how it works. I want you to see in real time how this machine performs. Now, I'm not going to bore you with much of the specs. You can go on the website and read all the specs by yourself. I also didn't film much of the unboxing. Everything came really well packed, and assembly couldn't be easier. The only thing I had to do to put this together, let me move you here. There is one knob over here, a screw on the bottom, that is, you use your fingers, you don't even need a tool. So this laser head just needs to be attached to the base with that one screw. And that was it, one screw. The whole base came already attached together. You don't have to do anything. One screw that you can tighten by hand and you are ready to go. No other assembly is necessary. Now when it comes to the software, Longer does have their own software. I believe it's called Laser Burn. And you can definitely use that. You get some features that you do not get in Lightburn that you get with their software. When you use Laser Burn, you can use autofocus and you can do batch engraving and some other stuff. But because I'm not familiar with that software, I've used this in Lightburn. This is what I use with all my lasers, or almost all my lasers. So I use Lightburn just because that's what I'm familiar with. I use it with the Mac, so yes, Mac computers and Lightburn does work with this laser, which I know it's a big concern. So let me plug in the machine. It is going to get a little bit louder because the moment I plug it in, the fan is going to kick on, and then we will do some projects. Now, for these demonstrations, I'm not going to use the cover because I want you to see the laser, I want you to see how I frame and stuff, but you should know the cover does have an exhaust vent, so you could exhaust your fumes outside if that's what you choose to do. The machine only has one button, which is the very top, which is the on and off button. I'm going to turn it on. We have the light turning on in the front. The fan kicked in, you can hear it. We have SD card that you can insert in there if you choose to work with SD cards instead of connecting it to your computer. On the top of this tower, there is two buttons for up and down, and this is what moves the laser up and down. This is how you focus. So you can see right now I'm moving it up, and then when I click the other button, I'll move it down. And then on the touch screen, we have basic information here. If I go into settings, you can see we have connected to the internet, language, backlight, firmware update, all that stuff in there. Then over here, we can switch between the lasers. This is the nano and this is the infrared, so we can switch between the two of them. And then over here, it's the focusing. So if I go to manual focus and click this, you can see on the bed here I have two red dots. Let me see if I can put something else, maybe you can see them better. It's hard to show on camera. You see those red two dots over here? So you want those two dots to overlap, and that means you have perfect focus. So you need to use these buttons, the up and down, until those dots completely overlap, and that means your machine is focused. So just about there, we are perfectly focused. So now that we have the machine connected, let's start with the project. And I'm going to record my screen so you can see exactly what I'm doing in Lightburn. And I'm going to point you to the machine so you can see what's happening at the machine. All right, so here I am in Lightburn, and the first thing I want to engrave my name on this bottle opener. I can see the two dots over there, so I need to make sure it's focused. So I need to adjust the laser head until the two dots are overlapping, something like that. The next step to do is to bring in our design, and let's see, I have the design over here on the screen. I hope you can see it. And then what I need to do is frame it. To frame it, you go here to the frame button, and we do not see the framing here. And you know why this happens, and you need to be aware of it. You have to go into the console and go to Galvo engraving mode. And now we can frame it, and you can see the framing is happening with that blue dot. I hope you can see the blue dot walking on our material here. So I'm going to frame where I want the design. There you go. Framing is complete, and then I am going to make sure I choose the blue laser because I do not want to engrave with the infrared laser. And then onto the layer panel, let's see. I'm gonna do it at 6,000 speed, 25 power, so pretty low power, and the interval line is 0.08. So that's what we are using. And I'm going to put my safety glasses on, and I want you to see how fast this machine engraves. Let's click start. And just like that, it is completely done. The fastest engraving. Perfect, very nice, sharp engraving. Now, the next engraving I want to do is I want to engrave one of these brass coins with the infrared laser. So let's do that. I'm going to show you. Now, for the next demonstration, we are going to engrave one of these brass coins. And for this, I'll be using the infrared laser. I am going to show you some really cool tricks when it comes to framing. This machine does have a camera. I will show you that as well. I didn't really have it completely set up, but I will show you how without the camera we can frame very accurately, very, very easily, and we can do a lot of really quick work. So let's point you back at the machine, and I'll show you how I do it in the software. Now, the machine does come with these L brackets that you can screw in into the base of your machine, and I put one on the top left corner. And then you can take a piece of wood or whatever you have. I have some acrylic here, and I like this because it's very flat. And this acrylic does have the paper on it. So I'm just gonna leave it over there, set onto this corner. And then what I will do with, first I have to focus the machine. So I'm looking at my two dots. And I need to lower the head. And then what I'm going to do is I know these coins are about 40 millimeter big. So I made a circle here that is 40 millimeter. So let me turn that one on. That is my blue layer. So this circle is 40 millimeter, and I'm going to move it over here into the corner. And then what I'm going to do, this short key, you really need to learn this. It will save you so much time. Press the short key, letter P, P as Peter, and that will put the circle straight into the middle of your work area, straight in the middle. So now that I have it here, I am going to engrave on this piece of plexiglass. Let's see, I'll do 6,000 for speed. Let's try 5 power because I don't want to burn through the paper. I just want to mark the paper. So I'm going to say okay, and let's just engrave this. And now we did got some engraved there. I'm going to go even a little bit higher. I should have tested this before I started filming, but oh well. Let's see. I'm gonna go to 15 and power and say start. There you go. Now we have a nice dark circle there. I do not know if you can see it. And then what I'm going to do, now I know that that is exactly the size of my coin, so I can just place my coin right in the middle of that circle. Something like that. Now the coin has a thickness, so I make sure that I raise the laser head, so I make sure I'm framed on the coin now, not on the base. Something like that. And now I am going to bring in my design. So I'm going to turn off the circle layer, but bring in my logo. So I'll select my logo, and I am going to bring it to the center of my workspace. So if you remember the short key, it's P, and that puts it smack in the middle of that circle. So now I know my framing is going to be very, very nice. Into the layers, I am going to work with infrared laser, and I'm going to go with speed of 500, power 100. And click OK. I'm going to do an offset fill just because it's a little bit faster. I'm going to turn this mode on. And I think we are ready to engrave with our infrared laser. So let's see how we do this. I'm going to click start. And now the laser engraves nicely on our coin. And I'm going to give it some time to engrave. And just like that, our design is done. This is our coin. Very, very nice engraving. And because I have this circle now on my plexiglass, I can just flip the coin and position it right on that circle, and it's gonna be perfectly framed for the other side. Or I can just take another coin and put it in there and, keep going one after another. Now the next test I want to do, I want to engrave on stainless steel. I want to do a test engraving and just figure out what are the best settings to get the perfect blues. So as you can see here, I did do a test and I got some blues, but now I want to change the parameters of the testing material and get mostly blues to get more settings out of it. So I'm going to show you how to do that in Lightburn. But before I do that, let me just show you the Longer's software, what it looks like, just so you have an idea how it's compared to Lightburn. So if I go into my application, this is Longer's software laser burn. As you can see, it's very similar to Lightburn, but it is a lot more simplified. So if you do not want to pay for Lightburn, you should use their software and should make things for you a lot easier, as everything seems to be a lot simpler. Now in Lightburn, let's see how we set up a test material. I'm going to make these layers invisible. And I'm going to go into laser tools and I am going to go to material tests. Oh, before I do the material test, let me show you, there is a camera, you can see it right now here. I just didn't finish the alignment, so I cannot use it yet, but you can calibrate your camera and use it. For me, I never use a camera just because it's so easy to frame with the light and also with the little jigs like I just show you how I make. So I would never rely on a camera, I just do it the way I'm used to do it. But it's there if you need it. So again, laser tools, we'll go to material tests. And then in the material tests, based on the settings I got last time, let's see. I want to go for the speed. I'm going to leave it from 600 and I'm going to go to max of 4,000. Oops. 4,000. So 600 to 4,000 for the speed. And then for the power, I am going to go from 40 to about 70. All right. Let's frame it, see what we get in here. Well, first I have to go, because we're still on infrared, so make sure that we go to the Galvo engraving mode. And for the speed, for the power, I said I'm going 40 to 70. All right. So 600 to 4,000, 40 to 70, let's frame it. This is way too big for my material, so what I can do is make this smaller. Let's see, 3 millimeter. We'll try that. Let's frame it again. And now it looks like it will fit on our material. Perfect. So now that I have all these parameters set, it is time to start engraving. Well, I stopped the engraving early. I didn't let it engrave the whole thing, and that is because I have an appointment I need to go to, and I do not have the time to stay for it. But I wanted to show you, we got so many blues, and maybe tomorrow I'll play around and I will do another one and let it go fully so I can get the whole spectrum of blues. But this is how you do material test with Lightburn. So as you can see, this tiny laser is pretty amazing, engraves perfectly on wood, leather, cork, stone, pretty much anything you could imagine. Having the infrared laser in it, also super useful for metal and plastics. I was so impressed with the way it engraves on brass and on plastic. And I think it's a really, really good investment for a hobbyist and also for a small business. I hope this was useful to you and you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skylar Ewing and I'll see you in my next video.